Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special episode of the Spooky Horror Show. I'm Anthony, and this is your host, Sean. Today,
Hello.
we're going to be talking about my favorite movie of all time, and spoil the crap out of it, apparently, the 1974 horror film, which I'm going to address the horror name in this movie later, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Before we get into that, how was your weekend, man? We had a 3-day weekend for some of us that get those off. How was yours? Oh God, he's ramping up. You see this? It's like a Kamehameha. He's like, "Ah!" Oh no.
I went to Dunkin' Donuts today.
Why?
Because it's Dunkin' Donuts. We're East Coasters. We love Dunkin' Donuts. Their coffee's great.
We went to Dunkin' Donuts. Oh my God, their coffee's horrible. I never liked their coffee.
Not regular coffee. You got to get like their like
a
triple
flavored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe on that aspect you might be correct, my friend.
Have you ever gone to a Dunkin' Donuts that didn't have fucking donuts?
Are you fucking kidding me? So what do they have? They just serve you just coffee?
Just coffee. I pull up. I'm now locked between two other cars, so I can't even fucking pull out.
And you can't even get out now. Okay.
I get up to the thing, and I'm like looking. I'm like, why is there a piece of paper on the thing? I pull
We're
up.
out of donuts, really?
She goes, welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. How can I take your order? I go, wait, this says you're out of pastries. Does that mean like everything?
Pastries or donuts? Because I do not classify the donuts as a pastry.
Everything. The only thing they had was coffee. It was 12 o'clock in the afternoon. How the fuck do you not have donuts at Dunkin' Donuts?
Shop. I bet you if that was Shipley's, it would be fucking. They would be loaded with donuts.
Oh my God. I was so furious.
That's so fucking weird.
So furious. I went and I since I was fucking stuck there, I couldn't go anywhere. I just got Jackie her coffee. Yeah. It was $2. It was like $2.69.
A $2 coffee. You could have had coffee at home.
On a holiday weekend, do you not have fucking donuts at a Dunkin' Donuts?
I would think that this weekend would be pretty big on that with everybody that goes out with their family.
I just I was so fuming driving home. I was just blasting Wu-Tang and Old Dirty Bastard and shit. I was like, no, I rolled the windows down in the 100-degree heat.
Angry white guy.
Fucking blasted it, and I was like,
fucking,
I
Wu-Tang.
just don't want to think about it anymore.
Just wanted a goddamn it's like suicidal tendencies. Like, all I wanted was a Pepsi. Just wanted my donuts, man.
That's it. I just wanted.
So you didn't get any donut? The end of the story is you didn't even get a donut?
No. How was your weekend?
Productive. Mine was productive. I got a lot of shit done. Kids' rooms getting painted the colors we picked out like in March.
Is Joker not Joker colors?
I know. I was like, what the fuck? Now I'm like, hey, if I take some of that glow in the dark UV markers and just write ha like all over your walls.
It's fucked up.
You'll be the coolest kid in fucking 3rd, 4th grade. I'm telling you, all your friends will be like, oh, look at this. That'll be traumatized. Pick one. Figure it out.
It's like, he will not be the most popular kid. He'll be the kid that has the house that when you sleep over, you pee your pants. Like, are you ready to fucking talk about this trash heap of a movie?
Let's talk about this lovely slasher film, people. We'll address this.
Dude, I wouldn't even call it a slasher film. Like, if
we'll address that as well. We will address that as well in this episode of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, everybody. It is the 1974 version, written by Kim Hinkle and Tobe Hooper. Hooper, directed by Hooper. He produced the film with less than 140,000, about roughly today 800,000.
Yeah.
With inflation. He used a cast of relatively unknown actors at the time. I know a lot of them went on to do 1 or 2 of the sequels, as well as make their own breakout into other aspects of horror. Many from the Central Texas area, which, if all of you know, there actually is still a house there. Oh shit. The house is still in Texas. Like, didn't you go and see it?
No, we were going to.
It's actually filmed in Texas. A lot of what I read up on this, they didn't really have anything under like 100 to 90 degree weather at all. The whole fucking shooting of this movie. Like, it was brutal. They act when he was Gunnar Henson, when he was doing the role, did you have fun with it? Because you seem to be really getting it. He's like, I didn't have any fun with it. It's 100 degree weather. Like, this wasn't fun. This was miserable. So yeah, they got a bunch of locals that they could get it into, approximately shooting in local areas. Limited budget forced Hopper to film for longer hours and 7-day weeks. So they don't need unions in Texas anyways. so that he could finish as quickly as possible because he needed to get the rentals back. The man was on a budget, you know? Hey, that's why, the women keep the tags back on the dresses, you know what I mean? They got to send it back the next day. He was doing the same. Due to the film's violent content, I really beg to differ on that one. Hopper struggled to find a distributor, but eventually it was required by, what is this? Bryanston's Distribution Company? Is that, am I saying that right?
I think, But, they apparently made Return of the Dragon, the Bruce Lee film, and they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But in the early 70s, the Colombo crime family members, a couple of the sons, were president, vice president, and secretary of this. So this was a company run by the mob.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, so when they absolved, did they end up merging with it? That was what happened. It was with Frankie Two Tones and Louis the Liver down there in the fucking Hudson River. They're done now. Yep. That's what kaputs. So Hopper limited the quantity of on-screen gore in hopes of securing a PG. In hopes of securing a PG title, guys. If I ever heard someone say, "Hey, yo, guys, I got this cool new horror film," or really, dude, I do this now actually. Oh yeah, here it is, and I look at the back and it says PG on it. I say, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah, no.
But my favorite is
Hopper limited the quantity of on-screen
gore
in hopes of securing a PG rating. There was no gore in this entire fucking film.
There was none. I'll address that later on.
There was nothing.
The film faced similar problems internationally, being banned in several countries. I would figure that. There'd be numerous theaters stopped showing the film in response to complaints that it was violent. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre initially received mixed receptions from critics. Understandably, though, as we're going to dissect, it was highly profitable, grossing over $30 million at the domestic box office. I guess now that back then was big. Nowadays, that's not.
I mean, considering what was the budget? 140,000, like a little bit less than 140,000. Making 30 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. But
you know what I mean?
Also back then, every fucking horror movie did the same thing. They were like, this is the scariest movie. You're gonna pass out. Yeah. Better sign a waiver. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
so
and
then of course you're gonna go see it.
Nope, it never was. They would love that hype up on that one. That's why I was like, it's not a horror film. But since it gained a reputation of one of the best and most influential horror films due to this growing success, now think about it. It really isn't a horror film. Like I want to dissect that because growing up, everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a gore film. I'm like, it's not a gore film. Oh, it's a horror film. It's not a horror film. There's no horror in it. There's suspense. There's suspense in it.
But even with that, horror. I'll say very little suspense. It's not a lot.
You know what I mean? It's pretty straightforward. Big guy in a suit fucking hits him with a hammer. No suspense. It's none of the things that they ever label in it. And it bothered the shit out of me. And at best, it's a slasher. At the best, if you're reaching for it, it's a slasher.
I have later on, because like I took notes while I was reading, just some of the things that just fucking pissed me off. I made a list of other horror movies that came out before Texas Chainsaw Massacre that are scarier and show more shit than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
100%.
Yet TCM is held to like such as high regard, and I'm like,
it's weird. I can honestly say, though it is my favorite, it's not like the end all to end all. It's just my favorite. I love the Chainsaw. The Saw is family to me. Like I'm that person. Just like Friday the 13th, it's you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You think that's.
But it's
definitely not the best movie of all time.
But now let's before we go a little bit further, would you rather watch this, or would you rather watch the remake with Jessica Biel that had all the gore? It was basically the exact same story, but it was shot in modern times and actually showed the gore and the violence and stuff.
Wow, you really hit me up with that. I really don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I watch the old one all the time. I love it. I just always go back to it. But I will go to that other version though when I want an actually gore movie, a horror film.
Yeah, because you say all the time you're the gore guy, and this movie has no gore.
There's no gore in it.
The only gore in this is when they show like the decomposing dead animals. That's
not gore. That's not gore though. That's not classified gore. Blood, like dismemberment. You didn't really see any of it. Nope. Any of it. Nothing. Even the hook scene. Your hook scene In the newer version, you see him slide you onto there. On the other version, you just kind of hear it in her moan like she's getting fucked. It's like that's a horny moan. It doesn't sound like she's getting killed. You're getting impaled, but not there.
Yeah.
So like it's not the same. Stop fucking calling it a goddamn horror film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is credited with the originating of some common elements of the slasher genre, which again it's not, including some of the use of power tools as murder weapons, characterization of a killer as a large, lurky, masked figure. In which when did Michael come out? I mean, not Michael. Halloween come out.
Halloween came out, I think, 78.
Oh, okay, so that is true then. That is true.
Yeah, but I mean,
I thought that was wrong.
That's still
really
not
remember.
like that's not like a thing. Oh, he's big and hulking and he wears a mask. It's like, okay.
Isn't that like all of these type of movies? Aren't you supposed to be like a luminous person? Why would they want a skinny guy in a mask? You know who's gonna run from the skinny guy? It's not really a genre-setting thing.
I would run from the Hitchhiker though, because he just seems
from the
dirty
Hitchhiker. Oh well, yeah, dude, he's weird. The film was marketed. I love this one because I actually read up something on Hunter about Henson about this. That the people, this was marketed to people as a true story. True events is what it really was called. You know, it's based off true events. It's not based off any true events. It's like any other movie that's like this. They take bits and drabs of every little story, they compile it together and say, this is what we have, make it work. Combination of Buffalo Bill and Ed Gein. There was a clown killer in there too. I forgot it.
I think that's Ed Gein.
Well, oh, that was Ed Gein. You know, all together. You know what I mean? It's not a true story. And the actor that plays Leatherface legitimately used to get fans get angry at him when he would go to like signings and shit. He was like, it's not real. Why would you think any of this shit was real? Which I found that funny. You know what I mean? The guy who was in the film, he would know.
Yeah, it's shit like that just always infuriates me because you go, well, the argument is like, well, people aren't that stupid. And it's like,
oh no, I mean, they are.
But they are. Like that's the thing. Yeah. People are that stupid. So it's like you have to spell it out for them. It's the same thing with like in hot like scenes where things are super hot and someone turns on the air conditioner and it's like, oh, well, if you do a shot of the air conditioner, no one's gonna know. Yeah.
What the
so you gotta put the little
all
dangles.
The time it's like, well,
because people
why
are
would
stupid.
I know it's on any other day? Yeah. Wouldn't you have the the sound in the background?
So dumb.
I love it. I love it.
I've seen them in some bodegas.
Oh, you really pulling bodegas out? No, bodegas to make sure in the electric and the fucking heat's still on. That's not to make sure. That's to make sure you still got the fucking electric on. Okay, we all did that in New York. Put it on the fan. Oh, Poppy, you see that shit moving? Yeah, I see that. Okay, yeah, it's moving. The airflow's going. It works. I had a girlfriend in Spanish Harlem that every fucking window in the fucking because they had like the centerpiece was open for the project. Fucking every window, just this fucking cascade of colored fucking shit to make sure we're still working.
I hate this movie. I hate it a lot. Watching it again, it was a fucking chore. I was searching every single platform that this movie was on to see if it had 2 times speed so I can get fucking through it.
2 times speed?
Yeah. The acting in this is awful. Yes, the chick that plays Sally, the one that plays Sally.
Sally, not Jenny. Yeah.
Hot as shit. Hot as shit. She would totally get it. Like everyone else is fucking awful. Like you mentioned before, the Pam getting impaled on the hook and her just moaning like she's getting deep dicked by 3 guys. It's like, what the fuck is this?
The acting, they didn't get them in the right frame of mind with that yelling.
Yeah, the fucking what is it? Sally's boyfriend is just a complete and total dick.
Kirk.
He's a complete and total dick to Sally's handicapped brother. And it's like what the fuck is this? The Franklin, the handicapped brother, is just like the worst fucking character. Like I would have left him on the side of the road.
I don't really even understand why he even went.
It's
like in like a real life type of thing. Why did you go? He seemed miserable. He seemed like he wanted to be in charge.
Why was there so much talk about the Zodiac?
Bro, I said the same thing. Watching it now, I was like, I didn't remember how much about the Zodiac sign shit. But I don't think the Zodiac killer was around that time.
No.
That's in the 80s.
There's a bunch of shit where
about
they say
Zodiac
that it was
astronomical signs.
What is it? The film was marketed as being based on true events to attract a wider audience and to act as a subtle commentary on the era's political climate. What political climate? It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. Again, like I know you brought it up because I saw in your notes that you wrote, Sean's gonna bring it up. He was right. How the fuck did Franklin last so long? Is it because he was just somewhere by himself?
Yes. No, he wasn't by himself ever. He was with somebody, and he dragged somebody. Well, he made somebody drag him around. Why would you put a handicapped person in a wheelchair in the middle of a flatlands of Texas?
Yeah, weeds and like he cannot get around.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning when he goes to pee in a can, and a truck drives
down.
by. It's like
and the air,
and he falls down and shit.
Scene.
How the fuck is he supposed to get back up if there was no one else fucking there? Like this doesn't make sense.
There was no reason along the highway. Why would you think he got there with other people?
You could have had Franklin there, a normie, a walkable person, and everything, but to have him as someone that's paralyzed, that has to be pushed around all the time. It's like, was it just supposed to be a gimmick for the way that he died? Yeah, there was no fucking reason for it because
he
again,
didn't die in any special way. He died in a chair.
It's so stupid. And then the fact that there's no blood, there's no guts, there's no gore. You don't watch any kills. The most you see is when like they hold Sally's hand out and slice her finger so Grandpa can, and that's it. I don't like this film. I think there are far better films made at the exact same time that did all of this fucking better and actually went the gore route. But to call this like, oh, it originated fucking some of the most common elements. No, it went generic things, and then there was like, oh, but now it's in like a movie theater. It's like that's all that it was, and the only reason it was even in theaters is because the mafia, like, distributed it. That's it. Yeah. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I don't see this. And it's like Tobe Hooper went on to make like other stuff that was good.
Where'd that at?
And it's like,
I had that out too.
I think he
made a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think he did. He went on to make The Funhouse, Poltergeist, Night Terrors, Toolbox Murders. Like, he went on to do other stuff that was good. Yeah. But then it's just like, I'm sorry. Like, this just isn't.
Hey, listen, it's not for everybody. And and that's the thing. I never grew up liking it for the gore or anything. I liked it for for Leatherface. Really, it was always for Leatherface.
But Leatherface was terrible in this. He was awful.
I like the aspect. I like the chainsaw. I like the mangled look, the body, the skin. It's gonna make me sound like a fucking psychopath. But I liked him as a murderer. You know what I mean? He wasn't even like a murderer, because the second the cook comes back and he starts yelling at him. He's like, oh yeah, no.
He's just
doing
that.
They really played on the handicap aspect of it.
Yeah,
they played on his handicap aspect of it.
It's like like, I can understand liking Leatherface and being like, yo, I'm into Leatherface. In like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is a far better film than Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1.
See, you think 2 is better, and I can't stand it. It's too comical. Too comical.
Horror. This doesn't have suspense. This doesn't have thriller aspects. It doesn't have anything. It's just a guy walking around in a really big gimp suit. Like, that's all that it is. Yeah, that's it. Like, that's not scary. That to me is comical, because there's no fear behind it. He's a big old fat guy that can't catch up to a girl that's tripping over the place. It's like, no, not it.
Fun movie fact about that. Even though Gunner wore lifters.
Yeah.
He wore lifters. He was still able to outrun the actress in the field scene, that to the point where they were telling him that he's going too fast, and you can sometimes see in cuts he really is cutting trees back there, trying to slow it down because he's going too fast. Dude was fucking huge, if I'm not mistaken. He was big.
Yeah, it's just
so.
I don't know. It's like,
so let's get into this plot, since we found out that Sean basically just.
What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts. We'll take my thoughts on it. I'm not going to disagree with you really, though. When they made it, they try to dumb it down so much so they can get it played anywhere after having such a terrible crowdfunding, as you would call it, for something back then, to distribute it. They got hooked up with the wrong people. They got it out there, but it was just like, what was it? Disturbing behavior. It cut probably all the good shit out of it just to get it in theaters, and then people still somehow managed to say it was the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
It's
make
like-
sense to me. You know what I mean? Like,
It's like the
that's
only
why when
thing-
you ask me about the new version, I just don't ever see them in the same light because
And
they're
they're
two different kind of
basically
films.
And they're
But
like
they're
shot for
almost
shot the
for
same
shot.
thing.
They are almost shot to shot for the same scenes, but better acting, better scripting, better scene lighting. There's gore. You actually see some. There is good gore in it. You know what I mean? It's a modern version without putting dumb restrictions on it. Because, like I said, I honestly do not watch most movies if it doesn't have an R on it. I know it's a dumb thing, but it doesn't have to be nudity or a specific thing. I want it to be like a normal real life fucking thing. People curse, people fuck, people bleed. Make it a movie.
Yeah.
You know? So I'll go into that PG. The
unless it's a
mindset
kid's
wasn't
movie,
there. Yeah, like
because like I'll consider Hocus Pocus a horror movie because it has witches, it has them being turned into animals, zombies, stuff like that. But it's made for
It's
kids.
not a horror.
It is though.
I guess
It
so.
has all the horror tropes. It's made for kids. It's to
I
help them
guess.
get in,
It's a
and that's
kiddie-
fine.
Kiddie horror.
Yeah, but Texas Chainsaw, calling a movie Hocus Pocus, and then it being like, oh well, there's these witches that are trying to
And
take
it's
over
really
this
like
town.
unicorns and other shit.
Yeah, it's like that's fine. But then you have Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Chainsaw Massacre.
and there's no massacre.
no real massacre.
Yeah,
there's no
nothing.
blood. This is chainsaw. But yeah, that's basically what
There's
it
a
did.
chainsaw that does nothing. Like, does he? Because you
And
don't
this
see him
is-
kill anyone with
and,
it, right?
And honestly, no, you don't actually see. I
Exactly.
think maybe Franklin he pushes it into him, but in this version, legitimately, you really don't see any
Nothing.
use of the fucking. Yeah, the one fucking thing everybody gets all ooh about, because the first one is really about the hammer.
Yeah.
The hammer was the first thing he killed. Hit him with the hammer, hit him with the hook, the hammer, and then now I'm at the part where he's using the chainsaw. Then you actually get the scene with the chainsaw. And
But,
if I'm not mistaken, he puts it back down. He goes to go cut the dead guy already. You don't see anything.
Nope.
There's a fucking meat grinder. Not a meat grinder and blood splatter, just a meat grinder. All of the money shot.
Yep.
And her screaming like a fucking madman.
But yeah,
We digress into the plot.
Me personally, I would recommend not watching this.
Oh, you're a dick.
I would go Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 on, especially since I like the chick in 2 a lot more than any of the people in this one. Plus 2 has Bill Moseley.
Is it the radio host?
Yeah, the radio
It
host.
does have Bill Moseley. I like that. I love him.
And I'm assuming you're like, yeah, go watch it.
See, that's
No,
the one
this
thing
one.
about me.
This one.
This one, yeah, watch it. It's classic. Why wouldn't you watch classic? Listen,
Just because it's classic doesn't mean it's good. But all right, you ready for plot?
In the early hours of August 18th, 1973, grave robbers were stealing several remains from a cemetery near Newt, Texas. The robbers tied a rotten corpse and other body parts onto a monument, creating a gruesome display, which is discovered by a local resident as the sun rises. Driving in a van, we have 5 young people taking a road trip through the area. Sally Hardison?
Yeah, I think we settled on Hardesty.
Hardiston?
Fuck.
Hardisty?
We'll just go Sally.
Hardisty?
Sally.
Miss Sally. Jerry, Pam, Kurt, and Sally's handicapped brother Franklin. Which
Okay, wait. We're stopping right there.
are we rolling back?
We're rolling back right now.
We're rolling back, everybody.
So,
Okay, so he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Let's do it. Ready?
well, no. This is completely different because I realized in the beginning of it called him an invalid, like in the opening scroll.
It does,
Right?
and he's not an invalid. He can do a lot actually.
But I want to put this thought into your head now, so that as we go further on, you'll see other stuff. Is Franklin supposed to be mentally handicapped or just paralyzed? Like, is he supposed to be mentally handicapped?
Asshole.
Yeah, because like, is he supposed to be mentally handicapped and paralyzed, or just paralyzed? And I asked this because
Well, I have the movie on while we're doing
Yeah.
this. The movie is playing on mute while I'm watching it, and I can
Yeah.
understand what you're talking about because it's times where they have it written in that, or he's just acting like he's handicapped, and there's times where he's just not normal, but like he's very lucid, but an asshole. He was just being a dick.
There's sometimes he talks like he's like, oh man, like I don't know why we're doing this, and then there's other times he talks like he's mentally deficient.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
it's
don't
like,
understand.
I'm confused as to what's going on.
Exactly.
And it doesn't
motive
help
in the way he's playing it.
Yeah, so it doesn't help that later on in the film, he does like a I'm like,
that he
what is
acts
he
that
doing?
way?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? That's like the weirdest fucking thing that you
acting
could possibly be
childish.
doing right now. That's not even childish. Watching, like, we'll get to the point later. Like,
Yeah, I'm at a scene now where he's doing a pouty face, where he looks like a child would be pouting, but he actually, this is the exact scene you're talking about. Actually, they stopped at the cemetery to check on the grave of Sally and Franklin's grandfather, since there was some grave robberies going on, which they found out that it wasn't disturbed. As the group drives past,
wait. Now, they get to the thing. There's a whole bunch of people there. They get out.
Oh, there's a bunch of good
like,
old boys there.
Yeah, and Sally's like, yeah, I'm trying to see if like my grandfather's grave was disturbed or anything. And then some guy goes, hey, I hope you don't mind me taking this little Sally
And just
over.
grabs her.
And just grabs her
this
and
little
walks her
lady
off.
just walks away. I was
As
like,
she walks away with this random guy, Franklin's just sitting there like, oh man, I can't get out of the van. And then next thing you know, it cuts to them driving away, and one of the chicks is reading from the fucking astrology book. I'm like, what is going on?
But that's where I'm saying it. There definitely was shit cut out of this just to try to make it to the screen, and
there
it fucks
had
the
to be. There fucking had to be stuff cut. There's no
the only
possible
thing
way.
the only thing I have from my 40th anniversary, it's just like featurettes and stuff. It doesn't like say there's like an hour extra of scene. As the group drives past the slaughterhouse, which they're just grotesquely smell in the car already before they even hit there.
Wait, but did you notice? Did you notice everyone else was like, oh, what's that smell?
Except for Franklin.
Franklin's like,
oh, I know that smell. Yeah, like he got all like happy. Like,
yo, what?
I know that smell. That's the slaughterhouse. I was like, bro, you shouldn't be happy to be smelling.
Yeah.
See, do you understand? See a little bit of Franklin's little weird. You know? A little backstory of Franklin. Someone bust his legs for weirdness. Yeah, maybe he lost his legs due to the shit he does. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But as they're driving past it, Franklin recounts, his family's history with the slaughterhouse. Apparently, they had family that owned and operated it there. So for some reason, these fucking idiots decided, I'm gonna pick up a fucking hitchhiker. Why? I don't care if it's the 70s. Don't give a shit. The fact that it had to become illegal should tell everybody in history, don't fucking pick up people in the side road. And don't do it in Texas. I assume everybody in Texas is gonna kill me. Yeah. I always think somebody in Texas, if they're on the side of the street, they somehow will have a gun or a knife, and I'm gonna die. It's easy.
Yep. Nope.
So they pick up this weird ass fucking guy that looks like he's just escaped from a mental hospital. As they're talking, he recounts, "Oh, my family worked at the slaughterhouse too." He's like, "In fact, I just came from there." What do you mean you just came from there? What the fuck? What's wrong with you? So when the hitchhiker decided he wanted to play, that's played by Edwin Neal. Takes a rare picture of them without their request, which Franklin immediately says, "Did he just take my picture?" Yes, Franklin, that flash isn't from his dick. That was the camera. You saw him move around, you fucker. You're stationary. He is in a wheelchair, right? He's stationary.
How is he not moving around?
How is he not rolling around no one strapped him in. He's not strapped in. There's no one bungee cord. He's just like sliding back and forth in this fucking van.
He's the most stable person in that fucking van.
Yeah. Have everybody else there bouncing around. This guy's all sitting here he's in a wheelchair going nowhere. We digress.
God. Fucking Franklin.
So then when he requests payment for $2, $2, do you see this fucking camera? $2 for this relic fucking thing. He's like, no, I'm not paying you for that. So then he attacks Franklin, takes out a fucking knife and fucking cuts his fucking hand. He smears his blood on the side of the fucking van when they eject his fucking crazy hippie ass.
Yeah.
Now at this point, you would figure I'm gonna eject them out. We're just gonna keep going as far as we can. But did anybody fucking stop to think how much gas we have before we letting him out?
Maybe it's just like the times or whatever. But whenever I'm driving, especially long distances, I never let my tank get below half a tank.
I try not to, especially on long. Because you don't know when the next stop is.
You don't know when the next stop is. It costs less money to fill up from half than to fill up from there. and everything. So, and then
God
yeah,
damn,
like
nearly $80 for her tank the other day.
looking at that, it's like gas was cheaper then, but then again, you didn't make as much money.
Cents.
You know?
But it was
So-
still cheaper then. Enough for a bunch of hippies to go across country or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. It's like I don't even know where the hell were they coming from? California? Like where were they coming from?
They
was it
never
just-
actually tell you. You just start off in the van. They never tell you where they're
Yeah.
coming from. In the I guess remake, in the reboot of it, they tell you they were coming from Mexico for I think a Van Halen
Okay.
concert or they were in Mexico. She didn't know, but the boyfriend and the friend were there for weed, and they were visiting something. We didn't get any backstory in this movie. They weren't like, oh yeah, we're doing this. We go on gas. The van stopped at a gas station where the proprietor says that no fuel is available. What the fuck are you even open for then? Once again, no donuts, you shut. Gas station, no gas, you shut down.
Well, is it a gas station or is it a barbecue shop that has gas station?
It's a dumping pump. If it has a pump at it, it's a dumping pump. But he says the tank's gone dry, which if me and him do know, some places out there really do just go dry. Like they don't get any more shipments in. They just they don't get any more shipments in, or it's once a month. And if they're dry, they just don't sell gas until the next time it comes through.
But now here's like we don't know yet who this guy is, but he is telling them to stay away. Like don't go to the house. There's nothing there. There's nothing good there.
I'm getting into that one.
Yeah.
After failing to persuade this group to not, I repeat to you, he flat out said, this dude that you will find out later on is not a very nice dude, is trying to literally be like, listen, you really don't want to do this. Just go on. Just keep going. Go to the next station. Just move on.
Well,
and what do they do?
Them, they go to that house, but he tells them a truck will be here this afternoon to fill up.
Just wait around.
Just wait. Come get some barbecue. Do that. That's
Just
all
right
they
around.
had to do was wait like 2 hours to get some gas, or drive somewhere with no gas, possibly get stuck, and then be fucked. Like these are
and
stupid
then get
people.
killed in the. It didn't make any sense. Didn't make any sense. It's not even what happens in the reboot. The reboot actually gave you an actual reason on what fucking happened.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't understand it. I'm with you on that one, my friend. So, after not listening to the guy that will later on find out that he's a bad fucking guy, they went to this fucking house they specifically said not to go to. It's fucked up. It's all messed up. Can't find
So
shit
bad.
there. Can't find
It's so
shit there.
bad.
It's disgusting.
Bro, we've seen houses like this in Texas. There are still houses
God,
that
yeah.
look like this in Texas.
I've when I was an EMT, I've gone to houses that look like that still with people in it. It sucks. Mental health issues,
And can we talk about, like, I know there's something later where it talks about the sound design, how there was really no music except for stuff they had specific clearance for. So they decided to go with, I guess, sounds animals would hear. So
and slaughterhouse type of sound.
Goes out onto the porch and sees that's like a fucking bunch of daddy long legs, right?
Yeah. In a nest.
What was that sound?
That they made in as they're editing, or
the sound when he looks up at the spiders.
Oh, they probably made I don't know. They probably made a sound effect for it.
Yeah,
which seems like that would cost more money than having just the actual sound of spiders.
Yeah, because spiders don't make sounds.
Well, not for our ears, so why would we hear it?
Exactly.
I never understood that with movies.
So it's
they
like
put in
he
some
hears
things
it.
you don't hear. Yeah.
Yeah, he hears it and looks and is like, I would have not heard it, and probably just like dropped a spider on him, even if it was like a fake thing. So he's like, what the hell? And then looks up and sees it and goes, and walks inside. Instead, it's like he hears a sound and then turns. It's like, but you wouldn't hear that.
You wouldn't hear that.
That wouldn't be a sound you hear.
Weird ass fucking thing.
I don't know. But yeah, continue.
So as they decide they want to go all through this fucking jacked ass house, they leave poor Franklin all alone to go wheel his ass through grass and weeds. How do you manage to do this? Bringing back to Sean's good point, he's the worst character in all of these. The only one that cannot get away lives damn near to the end almost.
Yeah.
How does that work? So as Pam and Kurt decide to leave the handicapped dude to go fucks, they leave all of them behind, planning to go discover there was a nearby house running on gas power generators, which I'd be like, oh fuck yeah. But now being that we both are from, well not from, we are not from, well lived in Texas, in Texas, we know you don't go to anybody's property ever.
Nope. That's a surefire way to get shot.
Get shot. And I mean, indiscriminately, no warning give. All you hear is your body hitting the floor if you're still alive. Not even the gunshot.
Now, here's my thing. They left, they all went inside, and they were inside for a while.
They were fucking around.
Before Franklin wheeled himself in, right?
I want to know exactly how to get out of the fucking car.
Well, I think they got him down. Because they had like not 2x4s.
Yeah, 2x4s.
And those things look flimsy for that fat motherfucker to roll down.
It also looks like they aren't even together. That they're like singular ones. So what if one popped out? You know?
Yeah. It's two. I think they're like 2x4. No, I think they're 2x6s. And they just put it down. They were like planks, and then he rolls down. But again, like this fat motherfucker is not sitting in a wheelchair rolling down these things. Because like when they were putting them in the chair when he went to go take a piss. Like, they were bending as he was just putting it down before he even got on it. But here, they get him down, and then they go, okay, and then they all walk inside, and it's legitimately...
They just go.
They leave him outside, and they're all inside, but there's, like, girls laughing, but it also sounds like they're being tortured. How are you having fun in that house? I feel like stepping inside, you're going to get a staph infection. It's disgusting. And then, how does he get into the house? How does he roll himself into the house?
Did a full-on scene with him trying to fucking He-Man himself with, no help into the fucking doorway of it.
Yeah. And this is the scene that I was talking about.
No one came down to check him.
This is the scene that I was talking about before, where he gets in. He's like, come on, Franklin.
Well, yes, and he looks...
Come with us.
Yes.
And he's like...
Yeah, he acts all childish.
I'm like, what are you doing right now? What is this?
I don't know why they wrote that. They didn't even there was no need for that in the scene.
You had nothing else for him to say that you had to like downgrade him to just making stupid sounds?
Comment on the fact that he got left alone like that. Yeah. Comment on the fact that it's supposed to be his family's house and everybody left him there not to see it. Wasn't that the point? Was to go there to see it?
Or the fact that when he gets inside, he's calling for Sally. Nobody answers him. You're telling me nobody in this dilapidated house where all the doors have fell off, all the windows are either broken or open. Nobody fucking hears him yelling their names to be like, "Hey, what's going on?" You should be able to
hear him at least at a faint sound where you're like, "What the fuck?"
I just love that when Kirk and Pam come down the stairs, they're like, "Oh, hi, Franklin," and then she goes,
"Oh yeah," because they got to go frolic. Thanks.
It hurts. It's still cut. How about the fact that I fell down a hill? How about that?
Yeah.
I didn't just fall down a hill, but then the wheelchair fell on top of me. How about that? Are we going to talk about that?
My dick out. And I went.
And like when he went to go pee, why was he all like...
I don't understand, because I mean...
It didn't make any sense.
What part of him was handicapped? Was it from the waist down or not? Because wouldn't he have needed help to go to the bathroom if that would be the case?
Dude, I don't know, which is why there was no reason to make him handicapped. I feel like they just thought maybe there could be a good gag with the wheelchair, which then it's just like at least in what is it, Friday the 13th? I don't remember which one. It might be 3. No, it wouldn't be 3.
What?
4? They had no. It might be 2.
17?
I think it's I think it's 2. The dude in the wheelchair. When he's like at the top of the stairs, he's supposed to go meet up with the girl to like.
Oh, and he rolls down it.
And he gets cracked in the face with the machete, and he fucking falls down the stairs, like the whole fucking staircase in the wheelchair and everything. Which we can get into that in like a different thing where the fucking kill came from an angle that he should have clearly been able to see someone there. But yeah, at least with that, the guy's in a wheelchair. I think the actor was also in a wheelchair, if I remember correctly.
He was playing.
Yeah. He was playing. Yeah. But they had a cool gag for the wheelchair. With this, there's nothing. It's just he's an annoying piece of shit that's in a wheelchair. That
really makes it much harder for everybody else.
Yeah, it makes it harder for everyone else.
Anybody. Like when they're pushing, you don't see him helping push through the grass or either.
Nope.
Doesn't make any sense.
He's like, I have the flashlight. You push me. It's like, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna leave you here.
Kim and Pam leave and leaves the others behind, planning to go have sex when they discover another house is nearby, running off gas-powered generators. Hoping to barter for some gas, Kurt enters the house. You don't do this. Now, so this being said in Texas, and the fact that they found a tooth on the porch, why the fuck would you walk in? Like,
Hey,
I'm
I
just
found
saying,
something for you.
Found something for you, and grosses her out, but says, you know what, this is okay enough for me to walk in this person's house. Yeah, this sounds like a good idea.
I'll never understand.
A large man wearing a mask, made of skin, attacks Kurt with a hammer as he starts to hear in the very back room from this hallway, sending him into a convulsions, killing him.
This I do like.
Which part of this do you like? The luring him in with the
I hate the fact that he, this guy wants to get his dick wet, so he decides, let me put this disgusting tooth on this chick whose vagina I want to get inside of. I'll never understand that shit, and I'll never understand women that are like, yeah, well, I'll still fucking
do it.
It's
that
like
that obnoxious.
You have the lowest fucking standards. You deserve everything that you get. I do like this attack, because it's like he's like trying to listen in, and then Leatherface swings the door open, and he's like, what the hell? And then pop, you don't see any of it happen, but it's just the fact that like he hits the ground and he's there for a beat,
shake,
and then he starts convulsing and everything. It's like, that looks really cool in the way that like he drags him in and slams the door. That could all be super cool, and it's done so much better in Michael Bay's version.
Especially the way that the door slamming in Bay's version was really, really good.
Yeah, but it's like, this is probably the coolest scene in. See, like, this is the coolest scene in this movie. Just like in the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the coolest scene is Leatherface standing up with the new mask in the field of sunflowers.
In the field of that's
the only cool scene in the entire fucking movie.
I don't know what they were trying to do with that one. They were trying to, I guess, appeal to the newer
make it fucking scary. If you're chilling there, and if you're chilling there, I do like
that they brought what's her name back though.
Yeah, but like if you're chilling there and all of a sudden you see this giant dude just stand up, and he's wearing a person that was in the car with you's face already, that's terrifying. You're gonna fucking run for the hills. But yeah,
you didn't have time to get somebody to make that mask. That's your friend's face.
Yeah, he cut that off and just went, it's still wet.
Yeah.
It'll fit.
Let me just wiggle it out real quick. When Pam enters the house, she finds his living room covered with human remains and animal bones. Understandably, she beelines for the door, but the guy grabs her. Well, no shit, she got grabbed. She's loud as hell. She's running through fucking this house. She's making all sorts of fucking noise. All right,
Kirk?
she's literally
Kirk? Where are you, Kirk?
No,
Kirk?
Fuck that shit. The fact that she's yelling out this dude's name. What if the guy was looking for Kirk? Now he knows his name. Now he can be like, hey, Kirk, and try to lure him in. Shut up, you dumb bitch. How about the fact that she knocked over that, like, fucking, like, a billion things in that one fucking room? Like, vases, dead chicken bones, and shit, like, all over this shit, and just kind of, like, gets up all slow. Like, no, it's already done. You've notified the whole household. The dead's awake in the backyard. You are definitely getting killed.
Grandpa's up, and he's about to yell, giving up your location.
Yeah. So he drags her ass down and impales her on a meat hook. What better way to fucking make sure that she goes nowhere? You put her on a hook, hang her for later. He pulls out a gas-powered chainsaw. Love it. To dismember Kurt's body right in front of her. Right in front of her in the spec that we touched on it before. You see nothing. There's nothing to see. It goes from him, he goes up, pulls, he's like, and goes down to a giant fucking meat grinder in all of the good spots. No blood splatter, you don't hear wetness or moist, as no one likes to use the word. And you hear her making these extremely weird porno type of sounds. Yeah, that's it. It was the sound bite wasn't, but I don't know what was going on there. No one read back and heard that and was like, that kind of seems like she can go a little deeper, not like that way. Yeah, like it doesn't sound right. So, in the evening, now that we've already gone through a whole entire bunch of scenes that are irrelevant to the whole fucking movie and boring, Jerry searches for Pam and Kurt.
And now,
when he enters,
okay, hold on. So, when Kurt goes to search, it's evening, but it's not dark.
No. When they cut into that scene, it's the evening, as in like dusk to dusk to nightfall, because they
'Cause
look
I'm
like,
like-
they've been sitting around not doing a goddamn thing this whole time, and then
'Cause
they're
it's
just
like,
like
I'm
pacing around
wondering-
like, well, I guess we should go look for him. I'm like, well, how long did you wait?
That was my thing. Like, how long have they been gone? That
Yeah, then you just now said,
Yeah.
hey guys, you know what?
Yeah, we
Maybe
should
we
probably
should go
go
check
look
on
for 'em.
them.
Yeah.
You know,
Fucking, I
like,
swear to God.
like I was like, oh my God, this doesn't make any fucking sense. But in between there are scenes, but we were not going to talk about them because what the fuck happened in them? Nothing.
Yeah.
Enters the other house. He finds Pam's nearly dead, twitching body in her chest. I actually just sold the same kind of freeze the other fucking day. That's kind of ironic, though.
Now, how did he
The
find
Max
her
man
in there?
kills Jerry with the hammer. Well, why? Because he heard. You can hear it. You can hear shit going on. He looked. Like he was
But when-
looking for her, and he kind of like heard.
But then he opens it, and she
and
was
she
just
jumped, like
well,
kinda, like,
she didn't
pops out a
immediately
little.
jump. He
No.
opened it, and she was just like there, like dead, and he was like, "Oh my God!" And then she jumped up, go blah 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 blah, blah and stuff like that.
And there comes Bubba. And then he
Bubba.
comes running out of the fucking distance and fucking smacks him over the head with a hammer.
Loves his hammer.
Now it's nighttime, and Sally and Franklin start towards the murder house, because you would really fucking understand that. Why would you continue going to the same house no one's came back from?
This is the one point where Franklin is a smart. He's like, I think we should. I mean, he says they should go back to the gas station, which we'll find
In
out.
which one
that's not great.
Yeah.
but
it
at
would have
least
still
he's like,
been-
hey, we
listen.
should leave.
Yeah. See, in my mind, I'm thinking if they did do that at that point, maybe that guy would be like, I told you already, let's get you out of here. It might not be as mad. But when you go through all that other rigmarole, now that guy's pissed. Now when you get later on, spoiler alert, when you later on sees him again at the gas station, there's some bad shit that happens. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you listen to the guy in the fucking chair that can't go anywhere, I'm just saying you might just live a little bit longer.
Yeah, like my whole thing is I would not go searching for people and leave my wife, girlfriend, child, whatever by themselves. You know?
It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't everybody come together?
Yeah.
Stay
like,
together so you know that everybody's
hey,
alive.
you stay here. I'll go. It's like no,
Yeah.
because and anytime anyone has ever said that, they die.
No.
So no, you
Someone
stick
dies.
together.
On the other end or others, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's just like it's dumb. It's like you
And for
haven't
some
seen 'em.
reason, the handicap guy isn't dead yet, so we know that's a
Yeah.
fucking bad chance there.
And
You
it's
know,
like
you gotta-
they could have
you know?
totally left Franklin there and then just left him in the van with the keys, and he could have driven. He doesn't have
You don't- but
use
you
of his
don't-
legs.
You don't know.
But he could.
But you
he
don't
can-
know. What you?
He can
you
start the truck.
Push it down.
He has the boards that
I
he
could have
uses to
swore
get
it's
up there.
manual.
Well,
It's
yeah,
a manual car.
yeah.
How's he
So
gonna
he
do clutch?
he has the boards that he uses to get out of the truck. He could just use that to stick
How is he
that
gonna
down.
do the clutch? You
There's
gotta feel
two
the
of them.
clutch, man. If you ain't got no feeling in the fucking, if you ain't got no feeling in your fucking legs, how you gonna do it aboard?
Well, no, the
You can't
clutch.
feel
You
the
just
clutch engage.
no, you just push down on the clutch and then you move the stick.
There's more to it than that.
I don't know because I've never been able to drive a manual.
No?
What is it? A manual? No, my feet are too big. When I step on the clutch, my foot
hit the
still
brake.
reaches. It still hits the brakes. So
Fucking
I've never
brake.
been able to
Oh.
learn.
Oh.
And besides, it's useless. I don't want to have to fucking drive a mech to drive a car. I want to put the car in drive and go. Like, that's it. Fuck that. Oh, you gotta fucking turn some knobs and press some stuff like it's fucking steampunk bullshit. What is this? No, just turn the car on, put it in drive, go. Like that's all I
You're
want.
already here. Sean is not a third pedal person.
No.
He does not like the third pedals. Well, anyways, however, not before yelling randomly in the darkness into all directions, giving out their location. Because this is what we do. We just start screaming out loud, you know, hey, Franklin, Sally, Pam, Kurt. Yeah, this is what you do in the
Before
darkness
that-
when there's been people
Before
like
that,
looking for you.
isn't Sally sitting in the truck honking the horn?
Yeah, she did do that before. When you're going into the scene, they honk the horn and do all that shit.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is the
just
worst
draw
thing
them-
for it, too. You
draw
can
them
draw
to
everybody
you.
to your location. Yeah, they don't fucking know what the
I
fuck
fucking swear to God, people are dumb.
at all.
We'd
So
be
then
the only
that-
ones to survive.
So then Leatherface ambushes him. I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you see people running and me not running, stick with me.
Yeah.
Stick with me. Don't do that. You know, then now you have Leatherface ambush them, killing Franklin with a chainsaw in his fucking chair. About fucking time Franklin got it, because why the fuck would you want to wheel that guy around? In this whole ending scene, he is irrelevant. He couldn't do the next couple of scenes in this movie as a person in a wheelchair. You can't. You will find out if you watch the movie. It is literally a very hard scenes to do in a wheelchair. It just wouldn't work. So now Franklin's finally fucking dead. Well, Sean aggressively point out why the fuck was he in a wheelchair? I wrote that one down. We've already talked about it because we don't really understand this factor. Dude's in a wheelchair for no fucking reason. This makes the whole movie harder as due to the fact that what does he do? Where's he go?
Yeah, like now if he was actually a handicapped person, like doing the scene where he falls down the hill would just be fucked up because that means you pushed a handicapped person down a hill to fall out of his chair. You know,
well, listen, there are some actors that have that in their contract that they say that they're willing to do stunts. Maybe that person in a wheelchair is their own stuntman.
I don't know, but yeah, it didn't make any sense that he was in a wheelchair. It just it could have been so much better if it wasn't, but I don't know. I don't know, man. The man chases Sally into the house, where she finds a very old, seemingly dead man and a woman's rotting corpse. Kind of like the Bates, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Grandpa's in there with Grandma just fucking dying it up, apparently. Living in that afterlife. The man chases Sally back into the gas station and vanishes. Well, that's not gonna fucking help anybody. So the gas station guy confronts Sally for a moment, taking her in when she rambles about killings and her brother. After which he decides to beat and subdue her, because apparently he is on with the Sawyer family. Okay, this is when you texted me. This is the scene that I was up to. This bitch had a knife when he came in to grab her. She had a fucking knife, and not
that's
a small
how she
knife.
gets loose.
She had a big knife. This motherfucker beat her with a fucking straw broom. It's like, you bitch. You deserve to get caught and killed. What the fuck are you doing? You got a machete. You fucking swing that shit. You fucking hack at his neck.
You give it a go.
She's getting mollywopped by one of those old-timey fucking brooms.
Like a rat in the medieval times.
Oh god. What is going on?
Back to the dungeon for our handicapped child to do things.
Yeah, this isn't like the Cat of Nine Tails or something. It's legitimately a straw broom. Like, what the fuck? My grandmother had one of these where it's like, as you're sweeping, the bristles just break off.
What is this? Down in Italy and shit doing the steps.
It's like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Something in Hocus Pocus.
It's like, this is stupid.
Well, user and loads her in the back of his pickup truck. So, as he puts her in the back of the pickup truck, once at their house, finds the hitchhiker. Comes out of fucking nowhere. The dude with the birthmark comes out of nowhere. Hasn't been in the movie. I don't understand what he was doing through all of this. Where was he? I never understood this in this movie.
He was probably still trying to walk here.
I know, right? Texas is fucking so big. The cook, which is the I guess we would call him the proprietor of the gas and gulp or the stop and rib. I don't know what it is. We keep talking about ribs, but no gas. Yeah. So we guess it's a rib joint that used to sell gas.
Yeah, so it's like you said it's a pump and dump because so long as it has a gas station, that's kind of what it is. But it's like I wonder if it's a barbecue shop that just has like that. But it's like
I also think you've lived in Texas long enough to know that happens.
Yeah.
You know, let me get 5 on 1 in a full rack, please.
Yeah.
You driving down 35 with a fucking rack of ribs in their fucking mouth. You're like, oh god damn, I fucking hate it here. The cook is played by Jim Sweedu? Sido?
Or Sido.
We're not great with names. Sido? We're not great with names, guys. But scolds him for his actions at the cemetery. Apparently he was the one that was going and robbing them and putting them in a weird fucking corpsey monuments and shit like that. I don't know. They never get into that one either. Was he fucking them? Because then it would go with the Sawyer theme. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was doing weird fucking murals, I guess. Why is he getting angry about that? Don't they just dismember people and do that weird shit in the house anyways?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. It's all weird. Like the way that they talk to both him and Leatherface. It's just the whole thing is weird and
it's a
not
chromosome
really thought out.
away from a Gomer Pyle situation gone awry. Hills have eyes almost.
Yeah.
As they enter the house, the masked man appears dressed in a woman's clothing. Now, I mentioned it to Sean already before. because I was like, hey, this year I probably want to do a Leatherface this year. I'm kind of feeling it. It's all ramping back up for me, and I'm gonna get Pretty Woman mask. You're like, what the fuck is that? What is it's like, that's his mask. It's like, it's a mask of skin. I was like, no. Technically, when you look back at the 74 footage, he actually has a woman's face on with lipstick and makeup to be Pretty Woman. Never goes into why he dresses as a woman. Never says why he has to wear that mask, not the first fucking mask he had on. Because it's not exactly the same mask he had on when he hit him with the hammer, if I'm not mistaken. And he's in a suit this time.
Yeah, because I think in Next Generation, the cross-dressing aspect gets ramped up more. Like in that one, he's like, there's like,
because that's where the
like in that one they have
Bill
scenes of him
in.
like putting lipstick and shit
Putting
on
lipstick on
his,
stuff.
Yeah.
It rubs the lotions on it, but it's skin again, shit like that. It's true, because we said before, this movie has aspects of other stories and shoe murders and shit like that, like the Buffalo Bill, taking women's clothes off, wearing women's clothes. God forbid we fucking said that in this movie. Yeah. So, he enters the house, he's wearing his mask. The cook finally identifies the masked man and the hitchhiker as their brothers, Nubbins and Leatherface. I don't know why they named him Nubbins. That was fucking stupid. The two brothers bring in Grandpa. Well, me and him know him from the new video game because it lets you know Grandpa's awake.
Yep.
So they sat Grandpa on down. Yeah, just like in the video game, they do it in the movie. They sat Sally's fingers, poke that shit, said, "Here, suck on it, Grandpa. Suck it." And he doesn't just lick it and not like this man. This man goes. The scene is so very graphic. This might be the most graphic it gets in the whole movie.
And it's just because it's like, it's oddly sexual.
It's odd. It is weirdly sexual of an old, nasty fucking guy.
Yeah.
Makeup's not that great. I'm going to be honest with you. No. It's kind of chalky looking. It's, you know what I mean?
But then Sally faints.
That finger sucking.
Why did she
I would
faint
too. An old dude sucking the blood out of your finger.
Like that. I faint too. Some old dude sucking the blood out of my finger.
If you were sitting at a bus stop one day, out of nowhere, you pricked your finger, you go, oh, and you go looking at it, and you're looking at the blood, and this old guy just, I'm gonna get out of focus real quick. Old guy just comes in. And just starts licking your finger at the bus stop. You'd be a little bit fucking weird and pass the fuck out. I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Just saying. But apparently she lives throughout the night, and the next morning she regains consciousness, only to find the men taunting her and bickering with each other, trying to resolve who's gonna fucking kill her with a hammer. They had a chainsaw. Where the fuck the chainsaw go?
I don't know. For a movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's very little chainsaw.
Very little chainsaw in it. Just saying. Just saying, if it's in the fucking title. Fuck, you know what? I Spit on Your Grave, which we did not review on this because we found out that was a bad idea. There is a picture on most of the covers that were released in the US of a chainsaw. There was chainsaw in the fucking movie, and it was used. They tried to include Grandpa in the activities of he was supposed to be the head of the household, the head honcho, the big kill guy. Not all there now. But Grandpa's, grip's a little bit weak because, his pimp hand ain't strong too much anymore, so he drops the hammer repeatedly after every time he gets a good blow in. So Sally breaks free, magically, and runs down the road where, we get to that very famous part of being pursued by the brothers. Oncoming truck comes along, accidentally runs over the hitchhiker, killing him, in which I feel they didn't need to do that either. I don't know, because it made no sense.
I'm sure he probably didn't want to make a sequel.
That guy, yeah, because he never made it to the other ones.
I mean, like Tobe Hooper. I'm sure he didn't want to make a sequel. This is probably like a one and done type thing.
Well, he didn't make. I don't think he didn't make the next one.
I think he did. I think he did 1 and 2, and then that was it. The writer took over.
Oh, okay, yeah. And you can see the noticeable difference.
Yeah, because I think the writer did Next Generation.
Next Generation, and that's the McConaughey one.
Yep. So yeah. So Tobe Hooper did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2. He wrote and directed 1. With obviously he was co-written by the other guy too, and then he only directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
directed it. In which that's why maybe I'm not that fond of the second one, because it just, for me, it just went off the rails. I was like, which honestly, what is it, Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, Dennis Hopper, Caroline Williams.
I love Dennis Hopper. I love that. I love him in that movie.
So the cook is back in that one.
Yes, no, the cook stays in it. Then we get what is his name? What is his
Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley gets in it.
Yeah, he's Robert Sawyer, aka Chop Top.
Chop Top, and like I guess he kind of replaces the hitchhiker in the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
he got rid of one brother, and then this guy's here now.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was like he was away when that shit was happening, and then he came back, and he's like, "Oh fuck." I think
he said Vietnam, and he took his fucking
something
like that. Something like that. So the truck driver attacks Leatherface with a large wrench, injuring him as you would think, and escapes on foot. Sally, covered in blood, flags down a passing by truck and climbs into the bed, nearly escaping Leatherface. As the pickup drives away, Sally laughs giddily. That's not giddily. I feel me and you need to work on our giddily. That's maniacal. Like I'm covered in blood. Like that bitch is never coming back. Straight jacket. Put her in the fucking lock her up. Yep. Put her in the nut house.
She'll never be good. She'll never be good.
She'll never be okay. She's tainted now. One and done. She's done. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they brought that actress back.
Yeah, she was back in.
She was the sheriff.
Next Generation.
The cop. Yeah. So.
Next Generation.
And at that point, we had our iconic scene of him flailing around frantically in the sunset with his little black, like pencil tie. It was this really thin tie.
I think.
The thin tie just swinging away for the rafters, man, just pissed off. But see, now I like that in the remake version of it, he loses an arm in it. There's some damage done to it. There's some fighting back.
Yeah.
You know? So he's standing there. He's doing that. He's got like one arm. Got his hand in one hand, holding he's holding the handle that's got the chainsaw that's holding his hand still.
Yeah.
In the remake, which was a much better scene than this. Much better.
Yeah.
Granted, time period is different, but it's much better scene. This kind of just was stupid. So that's the end of the movie. So, fun facts.
According to John Larroquette, his payment for doing the opening narration was a marijuana joint. Marilyn Burns, whose character was chased by Leatherface through the undergrowth, actually cut herself on branches quite badly, so a lot of the blood on her body and clothes is real.
And we talked about it before, the soundtrack.
Yeah, we talked about this before. The soundtrack contains no sounds from musical instruments, with the exceptions of some copyrighted music they had the rights to. Instead, they used sounds of an animal would hear inside a slaughterhouse. Yeah.
So dead.
And then Anthony brought this up before. Even in his lift boots, Gunnar Hansen could run faster than Marilyn Burns. So he had to do random things when chasing her through the woods. And you can notice in a head-on shot that he starts slicing up tree branches in the background. There were lines of gibberish written into the script for Leatherface. Tobe Hooper would sit with Gunnar Hansen and tell him what lines meant, and the actor had to figure out a way to say the lines without actually speaking. This is the thing. So in the scene where the old man comes and starts yelling at Leatherface about the door, Hansen remembers a take where he communicated a little bit too verbally, and Hooper told him that it was way too intelligent and not in character. So the shot was redone. He said, "My one chance to have a line," said Hansen. So basically, the scene where he's like, "Oh, the door," and he's like, "Yeah." That was basically like baby, like it just didn't make sense.
Wanted him to song.
Hooper, in an interview for the 40th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, admitted that the film happened to be an allegory for the Vietnam War. No idea how. I do not get that at all. Going on to say that a lot of his ideas were from the political environment around him, with the stories on the radio in the background of a van, all the way to happenings that were going on in Austin, Texas. So yeah, I wouldn't call this a horror. I wouldn't call this a slasher. I wouldn't call this a thriller.
Not a sci-fi, because that's I
would
don't
barely
know
call this a film.
Oh, I went there.
But
see, I'm gonna at least give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
I'll
and
give
he's gonna give it like a 2.
I'll give you a 3 because it's a classic. But yeah. But yeah, what do you
Well, how
wanted to go into
iconic,
spoilers?
though?
But it's not. The other ones
Like,
are more iconic.
spoiler-free. They are, actually. People do forget about this movie when they go to end up watching all of them and stuff like that. They usually go to the Jessica Alba.
Well,
Or
because
Biel,
whichever
one's name it
Jessica
is.
Biel. Jessica Biel. It's Justin Timberlake's wife from Seventh Heaven. We talked about this before, that because I don't remember what it was. It might have been while we were playing the game, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that just came out.
Yeah.
That you didn't like it because it's deviating too much from the lore of the first one. And I had to point out to
and you were like,
and
there
you,
is
and
no
you didn't,
lore,
you didn't realize
technically.
that there is no lore in the
I
first
revert
movie.
back to that one that had actual story in it.
All the lore for Texas Chainsaw Massacre starts in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's when all the lore starts. This was just a movie that kind of introduces the character, but nothing is explained. Because it's like, what the fuck is with Grandpa? Like, why is he so like old? And like, how is he being
where
kept
the
alive?
old come from?
And
That
then
house looks like they've been seeing that in the remade version or reboot version. It said that they've been collecting hitchhikers and people for
that's
a
what the
long
barbecue's
time.
made out of.
Yeah, that's the long time. The first one from '74 really doesn't say that though.
Yeah.
You got to deduce it with the house and the barbecue comment, all that.
Yeah.
So say my family's been in meat. Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, but that's why I say that I don't really like this one, and that I like the second one, because like especially with the whole stuff where it's like, well, it's an allegory for the Vietnam War, but there's nothing about it at all in the entire thing. Nothing is mentioned.
Yeah,
but then when you get to the second one, Chop Top talks about it.
Yeah.
That's where all of the stuff starts. So I'm like, you can't have this like revisionist history that like, oh, this is so iconic. It's really not. It has 2 scenes that are iconic. Well, technically 3. The girl's asshole shot as she's walking into the house. They loved filming like an upskirt shot on that chick when she was at the soda machine trying to get stuff and she's like banging on it. That camera's just like all up in there. Like, I want to see your ovaries. Her walking to the house, Kirk?
Or do you mean when she's getting pulled back into the house?
No, when the boyfriend is hit and he convulses. That's iconic.
The dork.
Yeah, that's iconic. And then the thing at the end. That's it.
Yeah.
But everything else is just useless fucking shit that's just not needed. All of it. Because they don't explain anything. They don't show anything. You don't care about any of the characters. At least when it starts with 2. Yeah, at least when you go to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, like Caroline Williams' character, I think her name is Stretch, the radio DJ. Basically, if I remember correctly, Dennis Hopper's character is chasing the what's it called?
That killed.
Yeah, he's chasing them because they killed. I think he is the father of someone that they killed, if I remember. So he's
the father of a daughter or something that.
Yeah, he's the father of one of the daughters.
Looking for that.
Yeah,
he suspects that they probably did kill.
Yeah, so it's like they're tracking him down, and they go. The Sawyers go to the radio station, and they're going after the Caroline Williams character, and it's the fact that like she starts off kind of damsel in distress, and then she turns into like the heroine, where it's like she sees like Leatherface being mentally deficient, is like he's kind of, his chainsaw is like an allegory for a penis and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like she's flirting with him, which like confuses him, and it allows her to get away. In this, it's just them screaming.
Yeah,
that's it, all the time. And it's the one thing I fucking hate about horror movies. Well, that and the people that hide under a bed but go.
Oh, the hard breathing.
Like,
yeah,
what are you doing? No one breathes like that.
Impractical. Very.
So for me, I can take it or leave it. I can give it a 3 solely based on the fact that it's the original. But as a film, I would be like, fucking ignore this film, watch the Michael Bay remake, and then go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Because at least with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, there's a shit ton of gore, and in the remake, There's tons of gore. So, but I wanted to bring up that this came out in 1974, right?
Yes.
These are movies that came out before 1974 and had way more gore and horror in it than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, Wes Craven's Last House on the Left came out in 1972. That's 2 years before this.
But actually, a lot of people always make it that because it was the first one to use power tools as a mode of weapon, which I was trying to look it up too before we did this. I don't feel like that's true. I feel like there's got to have been another film before them that did it with a power tool.
1973, George A. Romero's The Crazies.
Oh, yes. I love that movie.
Right? 1974 came out the same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Canadian film by Bob Clark, Black Christmas.
Oh, that one's a good one, actually. I like that one.
1973, The Exorcist.
It wasn't that scary to me, The Exorcist. But that was more graphic than this movie.
Exactly. Steven Spielberg's 1971 movie Duel, about the guy being chased down by the trucker. Like, all of these
are more
came out like the same time or before, and yet everyone goes, oh my god, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so scary. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? But like, I would say Last House on the Left is scarier than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh my god. Because Last House on the Left is actually, honestly, that's a more practical thing than actually Texas Chainsaw ever had.
But I would even say Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you go by like what
history
now, Texas Chainsaw Massacre could never fucking happen. It could never fucking happen.
No. It'd be kind of.
But if you're going with even like the remake is supposed to take place in the same amount of time, it's like, it's gory, and it makes sense that it would happen. Same thing with Last House on the Left. It's fucking girl gets fucking kidnapped. They get into the fucking house, all the stuff, boom, bang, boom. I think, was it the Last House on the Left that the parents end up killing the people?
Intruders?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't watched it in so long.
Yes, because I think it's they find out what they did to their daughter.
The daughter?
And they fucking murder them with like power tools and shit. This was 1972. This did everything
2 years before this.
Before that, yet Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like, oh well, they use power tools and stuff, and it's like, no, he actually doesn't use a chainsaw to do anything.
If you're gonna like it, that's one thing, but don't claim it to be as grand as everything is made out to be.
That's why I'm saying, like, I can go and be like, you know what? Yes, it didn't do anything for any of the people. Like any of the actors.
It didn't at all. I'm not that it hindered it, but it didn't do anything for them.
Yeah. But it's just like this weird revisionist history that people have. So it's like I can give it a 3 because it's a cult it's a cult classic. No, can you even call it a cult classic if it made like $30 million off like $100 and something thousand budget? I think that's just a classic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a classic at this point.
So it's like, and I know it's like me comparing apples to oranges and everything, but it's just one of those things that I just like. It's just, for me, it's when I watch a horror movie, I either want it to be super gory, like you love them being, or I want it to just be scary. Then there's the ones, there's 2 different types. There's like the human centipede.
Oh
like
god,
like
no!
that.
I stopped. I didn't even finish that.
Yeah, there's the unsettling. When it comes to other horror movies, like the other genre is like being unsettling.
Wincing. Yes, yeah. Wincing.
But there's 2 types to that. There's the things that are like paranormal activity and shit like that. Specifically like haunted house stuff, where it's haunted house and it's found footage. Where when you're watching when you're watching it, like a camera's like looking at an area and it's like, something's gonna happen, and it gives you that like uneasy feeling, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh fuck. And then another scene happens and nothing happens.
It builds
up. Fuck. And you just get in that like
edging of horror.
Yeah, and you just get there, and then all of a sudden it's like it happens, and you're like, oh fuck. But then there's the other unsettling thing that's like fucking human centipede, where it's just people that are fucking duct tape ass to mouth fucking shitting into each other's mouths. And it's like, that's just gross. That's the unsettling. It's like, that's just fucking disgusting.
I'd have to hold my breath. I'd have to hold my breath until I die, because there's no way.
So it's like, for me with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one at least, it's like I don't see the things that other people see, because everyone talks about how scary it is, and I don't see it.
It's not that scary.
Yeah. So it's like, for me, like I said, I could go as high as a 3, because I hate Franklin. Leatherface isn't Leatherface yet. I don't like the rest of the Sawyer family, and the victims were just fucking awful. What about you?
I'll give it a 4, because, like you said, the 4 really isn't going off of the gore aspect or the scary aspect. It goes off of nostalgia for me more. It goes off of, you know, back when I was probably 8 years old or whatever, this was scary. You know what I mean? Your parent didn't let you watch it. It had a stigma to it. And then you watch it. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Loved the chainsaw aspect of it. But it's not. It's not what all the other movies after it are and became. So mine purely nostalgia. I mean, the cuts could have been, not the cuts, the scenes could have been better. There's no fucking kill on scene, which is one of your biggest pet peeves. And mine, it's like, why am I watching? The point was for me to see in innovative ways of people dying to be dismembered. Yeah. I understand it's a weird thing to say out loud and admit to, but that's the point of it. That's the point of it. They had none of it in this movie. But if you do go and watch the remake version, the Michael Bay version, there's gore, there's body parts, there's blood, there's the whole basement is wet. What is it wet of? There's different fluids everywhere.
You get juicy long take shot of Jessica Biel's butt.
Yeah,
if that's your thing,
you know,
that should be everyone's thing.
Everyone's thing.
Is that so? We'll go 3.5.
I would say
split the diff.
Split the diff 3.5. I would say if you're someone that likes the genre, and because you've never gone to Nosferatu, like the OG
Nosferatu,
black and white.
Oh, I had to do for film studies in college. I had to do that. It is what it is. Yeah, thank you everybody very much for checking out the special hosted by Anthony.
Texas Chainsaw Edition.
It's hosted and gonna be edited by Anthony.